Afternoon. Before the meeting commences, I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the land of the Bidjigal and the Gadigal people who occupied the Sydney coast, being the traditional owners. On behalf of Randwick Local Planning Panel, I acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders past and present and the Aboriginal people in attendance today. Good afternoon, my name is Julie Wolfe and I'm chairing the Randwick Local Planning Panel today, the 14th of May 2026. Also sitting with me are two expert members, Sue Weatherly and Paul Vergotis, and community member Kate Kelly. Prior to the commencement of the meeting, all panel members were required to sign a declaration of interest in relation to each matter on the agenda, and I confirm that all declarations of interest have been received and that no conflicts were identified. The signed declarations of interest will be available to view through Council's website by tomorrow afternoon. Do any of the panel members have any further matters to declare?
No.
Items on the public meeting agenda, 94 Dolphin Street, Coogee and 74 St Mark's Road, Randwick. And we have two speakers registered for the first item and 3 for the second item. And they are all, 4 of them are objectors and there is a supporter in respect of the second item. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the panel. We will hear from the objectors first and the supporter second in relation to the second matter. The panel has been provided with copies of all the submissions received in response to the public exhibition of the application. Therefore, there is no need for speakers to repeat all the points made in those submissions. Speakers should focus on the key matters they wish us to understand and consider, including if they have any issues with anything raised in the reports. After the speaker has addressed the panel members may ask the speaker questions to clarify any matters. Only registered speakers will be allowed to speak and respond to questions from the panel. Any person using defamatory or offensive language may be asked to leave the meeting or the meeting may be adjourned. An audio recording is being made of this meeting and we ask that speakers use the microphone on their device when addressing the panel to ensure that their comments are recorded. The audio recording will be available through Council's website by tomorrow afternoon. After all registered speakers have been heard, the panel will deliberate and vote on each matter in a closed session. The first application with registered speakers is 94 Dolphin Street, Coogee, and the first objector I have is Michael Magny. Oh, sorry, the other thing I was going to say is each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Michael Magny.
Hi there.
Thank you. Please proceed.
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity to address the panel. I'm and my family live in 98 Brook Street, which is the second of the 6 heritage terraces fronting Brook Street, with a second from the southern end. And we are concerned about the impact of the development, particularly such a large building on such a relatively narrow site, and the impact it's going to have on neighbouring amenity, local character and the heritage setting. So just 2 things we want to focus on in the 3 minutes available, and they are the solar access and the visual bulk or mass of the building. So I take you, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so the first slide there shows the solar path analysis from the back of our dwelling. All the dwellings in the group 6 have their living areas and private open space, which is coloured green at the back on the ground floor. The only access for sunlight is from the rear. So if you look at the diagram, you can see the 8 to 4 p.m. and obviously before 12, there's no sunlight access to the living area. So at the moment, we get sunlight to about 15:30, a little bit later. And that would be similar for the 2 terraces either side of us. We're the most affected by the solar access, but 94, which is the 4th terrace from the south, will also have some of these effects as well. So the impact of the development would be that if you look at the 2 o'clock line, hits the side of the building. All our sunlight in winter, this is June 21, comes from really that direction to the north and the west of our site. So by 2 p.m. we'll be cast in shadow. which is a loss of at least an hour and a half, a bit more, and non-compliant with the DCP, which requires 3 hours access. So that's, you know, a significant detriment to us. You know, impact the way we live in the back of the house. In fact, all those dwellings that I refer to. In terms of the private open space, I might just take you down a little to the third slide. It's not working. Excuse me. Here we go.
We've already received this, haven't we? Yes.
Yeah. So you can just in terms of private open space, you can see the sunlight. That's on May 8 before 1 o'clock, 12:50. There's already a lot of shadowing in our private open space, and we only receive access to sunlight between about 11 and 1. So we'll lose a lot of that sunlight. We'll be sort of reduced to about 2 hours. Sorry, we'll be reduced to 11 to 1 from 11 to 2.
Sorry, that's a 3-minute bell, so I'll give you another 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. And you know, the impact that's going to have on our garden, you know, just simply like drying clothes and our amenity. We currently get a sort of sun trap at the back of the garden or until about 3 o'clock, but all that would be unavailable, as well as the loss of a good hour of sunlight over half our garden. We'd also lose the sun trap, so we'd have really no sun after about 1 o'clock, whereas currently we get sun to about 2 and a little sun trap near our living room until about 3. So those are the impacts on that. And just some trouble moving the screen for me. And if we now move to the bulk, the photo there on the screen is the coast apartments, which 4-storey the white and 5-storey the grey section. This taken from 14 metres, which is very similar to the distance between ourselves at the back of the living room, just outside the door, to the apartments at 94. So you get a sense of the scale of that. And if you transpose that bulk to the rear of our place, that's kind of what it would look like. And, you know, our concern is that this has sort of would create a very significant building mass to the west of our home, which in combination with the already significant mass to the south would basically wall in the terrace. It's creating a 4 to 5-storey enclosure, and it'd be very overbearing. It would also adversely affect our outlook, our privacy, noise, and in particular the heritage setting. You'd be walled in on 2 sides, leaving only the frontage unaffected by development.
Sorry, yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap it up because that was the 5-minute mark.
Okay, so we're just concerned that is both an overbearing presence for the terraces and ourselves, and has a poor outcome for the heritage setting. That's all I've got to say. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you. I'll just check. Did anyone have any?
I have no questions.
No. Thank you very much. The next objector is Cherie Thomas.
Hi everyone, I'm Cherie. Apologies, I'm at work, so apologies for the UNSW background. I'm a resident in the Coast building, and my apartment faces west, but my balcony is northwest. And one of the big challenges I have is that there's not a lot of airflow with a predominantly west-facing building. In fact, Block B is directly opposite me. I'm in Block A. So this development, just the sheer size of it, will create a significant loss of airflow for me. At the moment, most of my air comes from the north, and it looks to me from the diagrams that most of the corner of that building will affect my north-facing view out on the balcony, the sunlight I get there, and predominantly the airflow, which does concern me. I also had a look at the shadow report, and look, I'm not an architect, but it seemed quite, I wasn't sure of the accuracy of the shadow report. because it looked quite small coming to the south from my direction, and I don't know that that's the case. And secondly, I also worry about privacy. From what I can tell, the apartments will come quite close to the back of the boundary, and it looks like they might be able to see neighbours pretty clearly, but I'm not sure what, if any, screening has been allowed or plantings, that sort of thing. I'm on level 3, so
Sorry, we're just missing you. Can you just get a bit closer to your microphone?
I am very close to my microphone. Is that better?
You were just going in and out, yeah.
Okay. So I'm also concerned about privacy, how close those balconies to the rear at the south will be, and can they see directly into our balconies, which are pretty close. That's the end of my submission. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I'll just check. Are there any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Did you have any
No
questions?
questions.
No questions.
Thank you very much. So that completes the speakers for item 1. As I indicated, after we've heard from the next lot of speakers, we'll move into closed session, and our decision will be placed on the council website within minutes. So the next item is 74 St Mark's Road, Randwick, and the first speaker is Robert Goetz. That's that right. Robert?
There we are. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Okay. Let me begin by saying I do not have objections to 6-storey buildings per se. My son lives in Dudley Street in a 6-storey building where there are 4 6-storey buildings right next to each other. These buildings are at least more appropriately located because there is significant land between the buildings. There's at least 1 story below street level, and they are on a gentle sloping street where the south end of the slope is higher than the north. However, I strongly object to the application at 74 St Mark's Road, as it is the opposite to Dudley Street, with little free land. It bulks from street level, and the steeper slope occurs with the north higher than the south. This steep slope is critical, as having a higher north side results in massive overshadowing of the properties to the south for a considerable portion of the year. The shadow diagrams within the DA only shows for the adjacent apartment building, but does not show the effect further down the road. It must be remembered that a DA for 4 townhouses a number of years ago at 78 St Mark's Road was rejected by the Land and Environment Court because of the overshadowing it would have caused to 80 St Mark's Road. Since the development at 74 St Mark's Road is at street level and with little free land to the north and south, the 6-storey building is too high and bulky as viewed from street level. It overbears all buildings in the street and fails to provide a reasonable transition between the surrounding buildings. The visual impact, in one word, is devastating. There is no consistency between what exists now and what is proposed. I focus on what I consider to be the most important issues. I believe that this DA should be rejected and the council should reconsider the previous application for the 4-storey development at this location. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. I'll just check. Are there any questions?
I have no questions. No questions.
Okay, the next speaker is Laura Gandy.
Hi, I'm Laura. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. So for context, I live on Oswald Street, which is just around the corner from the proposed development. I think the report submitted within the agenda does a great job at summarising and representing a lot of the concerns, but there are a couple that I just wanted to be able to focus on specifically. So in terms of appropriateness of the proposed development in terms of streetscape, what is being proposed in terms of bulk and size and height is very out of keeping with the surrounding streetscapes, which tend to be low rise or heritage, both within the St Mark's Road and then as you go down Oswald Street. We would have concerns about the removal of trees and just the dominance and bulk that the 6-storey proposal creates on the landscape. And then the second point is really more to do just with the level of density that having 11 dwellings on that site, large dwellings with the amount of traffic that would bring to a narrow site. So whilst there is, parking obviously being provisioned within those plans, just the scale of having that level of inhabitants and deliveries in and out of a very narrow site, and the impact on sort of surrounding parking and the safety of the kids and people who kind of use that street is also kind of a big concern to the local residents. So those were the two kind of broader area points that I wanted to be able to raise in objection to the development. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just check. Did you have a question?
I have no question. No questions.
Thank you for coming along today. The final speaker is a supporter, Angus Thompson.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start. Wait 2 seconds. I want to put timer on a second. See where I'm at. Okay. Yeah, so I'm here speaking in support of it. I'm a student. I'm a former resident. I was previously priced out of Randwick, just after COVID. I'm a committee member sitting in NIMBY and upstairs in USW. I'm an economics student. But I think this is the report and the recommendation for refusal. I recommend reading beyond it. Many of the reasons and outlines relating to ADG are quite trivial compared to the good that can come from addressing housing affordability by providing this development. Now, Randwick in particular has provided some of the fewest housing and has some of the lowest housing targets. And the whole point of the LMI is to get around the council's controls. It's not conforming to what's built there for a reason. And the development trend that they've specified in the report is the two buildings next to it. That's not a trend. Those are two older buildings. The current site is a dilapidated shack. I don't think you're going to lose much character by replacing that. And what brings character to an area is, like, if you go along that street, there's the trees. It's not going to be like that shack. It can go. Like it may be market rate housing. It may not be like lower market affordable housing, but that actually all this housing helps. Like someone who'd otherwise lived there but cannot will move further west, and there's a cascade of people getting further displaced, further out and out. And you can see it. Like the cities that have higher dwellings per resident have lower rents. And in Auckland, we saw rents go down, house prices stabilize when they upzoned. And this happened in Texas as well quite recently. And Randwick in particular, like it's one of the best places and most appropriate places to build this type of housing when there are constraints on construction costs, materials, and shipping just generally. Like as I said, I think the trees are really what defines this area's character. And the development trend is the two buildings. They specified there's a development trend of 4-story buildings. That's not really feasible in most parts of Sydney. And there's no feasibility study on whether this is even feasible in this area anymore. I tried looking at the Bondi Junction stuff. There's no feasibility reports provided publicly. There's a paragraph that mentions that one exists, but I think that's site specific. So that wouldn't even help either. So I don't even know if the council knows if that's even feasible to build a 4-story apartment thing. Now, this chart here has 3-story townhouses, but the moment you start stacking dwellings on top of each other, costs explode because there's fire safety, a number of things. Like 4 stories just is not going to get built. And like, I asked the panel to consider, if you're going to reject this, please make it a reason more, like, try to make it about avoiding a greater evil than people being displaced, increased
that's the
homelessness,
3-minute
and
mark.
housing costs.
If I could ask
Sorry?
you, that was the 3
Yeah,
minutes.
I'm sorry, I'm just wrapping up right now. Yeah, I asked if you're going to reject this, make it the reason better than avoiding more homelessness and, yeah, like, make it like a structural, if it's going to reject it, be on the basis of like structural and safety, not this. Yeah, read beyond the recommendations. That's what I want to say.
I'll just check, did you have a question?
No, I think I'm fine. Thanks very much.
Do you have any questions? Paul? No. Okay, well, that was our last speaker. In accordance with the panel guidelines adopted at the panel meeting on the 13th of December 2018, the public meeting will now be closed and the panel will deliberate and vote on each matter in a closed session. The outcomes from voting and determination will be made available through the council website in the following days, and an audio recording of the public meeting will also be made available through council's website. And I declare the meeting closed at 1:20 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.